So we're here at EBS Printing in Verona. This, for those of you who don't know, is DEWI Lewis of DEWI Lewis Publishing, who's publishing our book with us. 4 is only half the story. Tell me what you think of the book, DEWI, and how it's going.
I think the book is looking amazing. We're probably about 3/4 of the way through the printing now, and I'm just amazed at how well it's all turning out. It's a really strong project. There's some great images there, but it's also the way the whole thing is sequenced and the feel of it. It's very special.
You've touched on it, but what do you think makes the book special? What makes it different? You've published so many famous photo books.
I think one of the key things about, well, for me the key thing about it is the way it's sequenced. And it's the sense in which it's working visually, it's playing one image against another. So it's both about the content and the story of the images, but it's then about how they work visually together. And it's the way that that's all knitted together. It really has a very strong thread running through it visually, as well as stories, and obviously the main theme, which is looking at aftermath stories. And
what do you think about the use of Wisława Szymborska's post-conflict poetry?
It's very interesting, and I think it just helps to strengthen the thematic theme.
We had some debate about that at the beginning. I recall people thought that you all sort of laughed at me a little bit.
I think generally I would say that if a photographer comes to me and says they want to combine image and poem, I'm rather cynical about it, and that's mainly because photographers are not always great at knowing what are really good poems, and sometimes the combinations are bad. But I think in this instance it's exceptional. The relationship is absolutely perfect, and the quality of the work, of course, with a writer such as that is pretty
she
amazing.
kind of knows her stuff.
Yeah.
So what should people be looking for when this book, we're launching it, Perry Photo, in November, but what should people be looking for when they get their books from the Kickstarter campaign?
I think they should really be taking it slowly. They should be working through really following the thread rather than flicking back from image to image. I think they should try and follow it through from start to finish to understand exactly what is behind the flow of the book. I do think it's quite important because it's not simply a collection of photos. It's much more than that. And so the way it's structured, the way it leads from one image to another is very important.
Yeah, it's at Photoville. I would stand in the container. I would say to people, look how this image speaks to this image, and then look at how each of them speaks to the poetry, and how those little 5 excerpts actually form a pretty complete narrative story. I mean, everything I ever thought was aftermath, comes through in that poetry, and then the sequencing.
Yeah, no, I totally agree, and I think therefore it does demand time. It does demand that sort of quiet space. You need to create this quiet space for yourself to sit and absorb the imagery and really get a sense of how it's flowing and the stories it's telling.
I love that. Somebody commented on Facebook that they felt the Aftermath Project had supported complicated, patient storytelling.
No, I think that's perfect. I think that's perfect, and that's in a sense the way that you have to approach the book.
It's great, great advice. I love it. Now I have one Photo World inside thing. This happened in the interview with Toyn van der Heijden as well, the designer. It's, how do you say, your name is spelled D-E-W-I, give us the correct pronunciation on DEWI Lewis.
It's well, it's been a debate over the last few days, hasn't it? It's DEWI.
That's definitive. Thank you.
Okay.
Thanks,
right.
DEWI.
Bye.